It's a good little segue there. Thanks, Jacob. I appreciate it. Obviously, Inferno, it's a map that's kind of fallen on hard times of late, but it's always good as a decider, I mean, historically.
So what Vitality have going for them is that they haven't ignored the map. I think a lot of the teams at the highest level have put Inferno in the back of the drawer, you know, where you put your sweaters that you think you're going to use once upon a time in 5 years. A lot of teams did that, not Vitality. I think they kept on the work with Inferno. I think that's a map that they've trialed and tested a couple times. If we talk about Messi, I don't think he's a state of grace quite yet. It is a little bit of a complicated situation, but still, there's a bunch of database, there's a bunch of reference games as well for Vitality. We see 6 here, so in terms of the veto, I mean, listen, they have FaZe where they want them to right now. They have them on that Inferno. FaZe haven't played the map since Katowice.
No, but when they play the map, or when they did play the map during Katowice, they were dominating the opposition. Not against the very best teams in the world, and then again, you look at a team FaZe Clan who are yet to lose on the map the past 3 months, and prior to that as well, so they come in with a bit of confidence, but that's a great point that I want to bring up right here. You're in a semi-final, you played a long major so far, you've been there for a couple of weeks, and now it's the first time you pull out Inferno.
I know.
If anything, Vitality have a bit of experience, even a humbling experience against Eternal Fire, where they ended up losing Inferno in a close game where I would argue Major outcalled Apex, so there was a lot to be learned from that one as well. Maybe Karrigan have been in looking at that, you know, trying to replicate some of the same things that they could expose in regards to the Vitality performance in that one. For my money though, if you're FaZe Clan, you're bringing in a new map that you haven't played at this major at all, it's a big game.
Okay, well, I want to talk about that gamble because obviously we have no idea where Karrigan has, you know, done the prep work, right? He's obviously floated Vertigo. We've talked about that, and that's 1-1, okay?
Yes.
Overall. Now coming in on this Inferno that they haven't practiced overall, I can't believe he would have just kind of left it there unless he had something up his sleeve.
I mean, listen, you had to know that this was going to be part of the pool. If FaZe had no intention to remove it, Vitality would never. They would absolutely never remove Inferno. They played it last time they faced. That was a World Final. It came in favor of Vitality. So if you're Karrigan, you know they were waiting for you. In fact, I thought it could have been a pick. I didn't know the float Vertigo was going to happen.
Yeah.
So the prep done has been worked. Now, listen, if we're going to make comparisons, if we're going to draw between HooXi and Karrigan, I think if you are Karrigan right now, you're hoping to pull a HooXi. That's what you're hoping to pull. I'm going to bring you back to that G2 game on Inferno.
Yes.
Karrigan's going to try his very best to do just that.
Right.
You can already imagine the Karrigan versus Apex shock that is about to happen in Banana is like none of them have a break anymore. They're not breaking. They're just deadpanning it, and we're going to have a collision right in Banana.
Yeah, well, Banana's a mess right now. I mean, look, I'm going to just say it. I obviously remember all the different iterations of Inferno. Yeah, exactly. I am old. You have noticed that. And obviously, you know, right now, it just feels like it's more important than it ever has been. Whoever wins there wins the map.
It's always been a big, you know, a big place within the map. It's always been a place on the map that dictates the pace of the game as well. There is something you can do to avoid it too much, and you can just not attest Banana in the beginning of the rounds. I see a lot of teams spending an awful lot of utility in the beginning of the rounds in order to take control over Banana, and there used to be a time where everyone was okay with retaking Banana late into the round. That seems a little bit more complicated nowadays with the new layout of Inferno, let's put it that way. A little bit more tight, a little bit more claustrophobic in that way. So I'm curious to see whether or not the two teams are going to go fight head-to-head for Banana in the beginning of the game, or if any one of them is willing to play a slow-paced T-side where they allow each other to take Banana control, and then we go into the retake scenarios on.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if you start playing the slow style, then this is where the chess mastermind comes into play, and this is where we really have a Karrigan versus Apex. At that game, I don't believe the captains are going to be the only ones we have to talk about. I think movement needs to come from within on both teams, right? Zaibo is obviously a name we can mention. His movements on the CT side are going to make or break Vitality. When you talk about m0NESY, you talk about his movement. He's the one trend-setting on Inferno. Zaibo has to have these kind of movements. How do you have that with game sense, with being in the flow? So you're hoping he carries that over from Vertigo and he can stay activated. We pitched a Rops versus Spinks matchup at the beginning of the pre-show. And ladies and gents, this is all that's happened. This is the UFC, that's the octagon right there. In apps, this is where you're going to have a bunch of these Rops versus Spinks fights happening. Rops is a monster at trying to eat map control away. When he's on the CT side, he pairs. Sometimes he exaggerates a little bit, overstays his welcome. Whoever gets the best of him or the other is going to create such massive space for his team to use that space. That is going to be a marquee matchup right there on Inferno.
If anything, they learn from the T side as well. We've seen Spinks do that time and time again for Vitality, always crawling up middle, you know, staying inside apps, and whenever they do an A-hit, Spinks will be there lurking around trying to catch someone in rotation. We've seen the same thing from Rops over and over again. He's so good at finding the right balance between being aggressive in apps, but also being that lurk guy. You know he's there, right? It's almost like the old Get Right syndrome, where you know he's in apps, and he's going to be there at some point. He's going to poke out at some point. But what is the timing you strike? What is the timing you actually dare yourself to rotate? I think those two are being put in the same position on the T side, and it's going to be curious to see who's going to boot the better.
I mean, he used to be excellent, and when CS2 came out, I think, again, he was the one that was sort of paving the way on how to play these positions in that new game. But as of today, I think the conversation against Spinks is one that is worth a debate. I think there is a case to be made that Spinks has overtook him a little bit in that role. Yeah. The production has been higher, so maybe, just maybe, you know, the master has become the teacher or the other way around. I should not try idiom when I'm riled up. That never works out, you know. But this is where I think Spinks might have actually Rob's number figured out in that position.
No, and look, I want to say I think Spinks at this tournament has just been the standout for Vital. He's been so good.
Sure.
And, you know, he is a player that is really starting to deliver consistently to a high level. But here's someone we haven't talked about over on FaZe, Frozen. We've just ignored this kid the entire time. Obviously, coming in for Twist, I think he's had lots of impact. And, you know, seeing him getting involved with the interviews the other day and everything, really betting into FaZe well. And I think he's had some, you know, monster performances. When they picked him up, I was like, yes, that's the one. Obviously, Carrigan worked with him all the way back in Mouse Sports, helped bring him through, teach him the game, teach him the ropes. And look at the performances we've got here from this guy.
Well, I mean, he did warm up a little bit on Vertigo, had a couple of nice rounds, you know. Was it a 4-kill coming in towards the B-bomb side where he absolutely shredded up their position? In that regard, for Frozen, historically speaking, when he was in Mouse Sports, I think Inferno was his favorite map. It was a map he would always perform on. It was a map that he felt very comfortable on. So obviously, you would like to see a lot from Frozen. For my money, though, a guy that we did speak about coming into the game that have overachieved a little bit in the tournament, but we haven't seen today is Brokey, especially when it comes to Inferno. He has been playing a fantastic tournament up until this point. He's been a little bit missing. You talked about some AWP shots that were missing on Vertigo as well. Yes, but on Inferno, this close combat AWP style that we tried to describe going into the game, this is the map where he does it the best. This is the map where you've seen countless of Brokey clutches on that big bomb side. When there's smokes around him, there's flashes around him. He probably have more no-scope kills than any player out there with the AWP on a map like Inferno as well. So for the man on the screen right here, as said, had a fantastic tournament so far. He needs to show up now if they want to be a win condition for FaZe Clan.
Yeah, and I think he thrives in the game plan of Carrigan, right? I think Inferno currently is a map where on the CT side, if you're passive and you're going to play standard, it's very claustrophobic. It is extremely uncomfortable. Being on that B side, seeing the execute coming in, that's almost it. You're just counting your blessing at that point. So Carrigan has multitudes of rounds where he decides to have the fight earlier, before. Hell, even in down middle. I guarantee you we're going to see deep smokes coming in. We're going to see some fights that are a little bit unfamiliar. And this is where Brokey is supposed to shine. You tell him he's comfortable in chaos, Carrigan manufactured that chaos for you on Inferno. He gives him situations where the book throw or ripples out the window, get a little bit messy, a bit muddy. This is where Brokey shines. So he has to have a bounce back from map 2 because, yeah, I haven't been as harsh on him as I have on Zai. Well, that's fair, I don't have the same connection, but he was missing on the map 2. That's also a fact.
He was missing. I think the key difference is, you know, Brokey's shown up. I mean, this might be, depending on how this series goes and how the tournament goes, this might be one of his, like, career highlights. I mean, you know, coming into today, he was the 3rd highest ranked player at the tournament, right up there, rubbing shoulders with Donk, who obviously isn't here anymore. Hasn't been a great tournament for Phenoms, if we're honest about it, right? And then obviously Munacy, who's kind of flying the flag, so to speak, for the Phenoms. You know, he's playing really well. Brokey, I've been critical of, you know. He has been somebody that, for me, hasn't been great. But you can see now in real time, these are the tournament leaders. These are how things are starting to shift.
He would have probably been there prior to the map number 2. You know what I mean? I think he was there.
That's what I mean. That's exactly what I'm saying. You know, the impact of him not showing up there has kind of knocked him down the charts a little bit.
He was having the best tournament, statistically speaking, he's had in FaZe in a very long time, you know, especially in CS2 as well, coming into this game. We said it, he's been a little bit missing, but I think, as you said, you know, the game haven't really been that competitive. It's been a bit of a weird one. We haven't seen much AWP action. It's been more about the rifles, more about the fast-paced Counter-Strike. I think Inferno, the way it's structured right now on the map, it does invite for both teams to sometimes slow down the pace. And I think when we get into nitty-gritty rounds, when we get into 2v2s, ugly 3v3s, that's when Brokey is coming alive. He's not the Munacy of the world. He's not going out there dictating the game or trying to put down the offense from the get-go. He's more so a clutch AWP player, more so a guy who thrives in the chaos whenever an execute is coming at him. I think Inferno and the way that FaZe Clan will approach this game, as you said, Matthew, it suits Brokey much, much better.
Yeah, listen, we're moving on to map 3 of the semi-final of the first CS2 majors. I think it's only apt we talk a little bit about the psychology of the teams here. And there is a point, I'm going to dare to do it a little bit. There is a question that I have in the back of my mind. If you're Carrigan now, how do you live with this floating vertigo and the massacre that just happened now moving on to map 3? I think this, obviously, it's not his responsibility only. It's a game plan that has been approved by the team and they went in this together. But you have to be very strong to leave that behind. It could have been a different map. It could have been more competitive. You kind of fumbled it a little bit and now you're moving on to an Inferno for Vitality. I would love to have a temperature check very quickly on how they behave. Listen, they're masters of the big stage. I know that. But they're also humans.
If there's any team out there I would feel relatively comfortable that would be able to shake off such an experience, it would be the FaZe Clan. You're not wrong saying it. It can be something laying in the back of your mind. You were looking at a fantastic performance on Nuke. You were nowhere to be found on Vertigo, so maybe you're thinking we could have closed this out 2-0 in a different fashion or in a different veto. However, you're coming into Inferno, as I said, a map you haven't lost the past 3 months, a map that you feel relatively comfortable on, and you're going up against Vitality, a team that you played 2 grand finals against in recent times. So both of these lineups right now are under a lot of pressure. If anything, Carrigan showed me against Team Spirit that despite everything pointing in the direction of Team Spirit, having won 5 maps in a row, having won a couple of series in a row, took them down at IM Katowice without even putting up a fight, Carrigan and FaZe Clan have found a new level in this playoff. So if Vitality want to beat them right here, they have to take a step up. They have to continue what we've seen so far in this playoff. But I hope we get a competitive map now. First 2 has been a little bit boring.
If I am in the huddle there, if I'm Apex, here's what I'm saying to the guys. We've got their number. We've had their number almost every time we played them. This is a really one-sided rivalry. We meet these guys all the time. And Carrigan might be a mastermind, but I know how to beat him. And that confidence compared to the pressure, you know, for that Carrigan, all that love, all that adoration. You know, I do wonder. I think this is going to be a banger. I think this is going to bring the series.
With all the adoration that is in this room, there's also a lot of people you can disappoint, Richard. And that's what comes with it. It's the price of the expectation. Thousands and thousands of people here waiting for you to qualify, looking at you fail if that were to happen. That is obviously going to play a role. I think both leaders at this stage probably mentally a little bit tired. This is extremely cumbersome piece of maps. We're on map 3 coming in. What you need as well is a couple of free entry. And where is my man Flames at? We haven't even said his name the entire desk. We hyped him up prior to this matchup saying he delivered so many openings. He made the game lighter and easier on Apex because you don't have to go deep into your thoughts, figuring out make rounds. No, he's got the entries. We need to see Flame deliver a couple of those to make life easier for his captain, pour son capitaine.
Indeed, formidable. Right, it's great working with you guys. You make it easy. Now we have to go over to other people that make it look easy. The excellent Scrawny and Launders.
Okay, go.
Thanks so much, boys. And that's it. The stage is set. 2 championship-level teams on the best decider map in history, Inferno.
Yeah, damn right. Things getting narrow between the 2. 1 map left. 2 great teams, both that could compete in grand finals, but only a spot for one of the 2. And that's where things get a little scary because we have to say farewell to one of them. Inevitably, somebody falls here on Inferno at the end of this road.
That's right. We don't know what's going to happen, but we do know it's going to be big. So come on, Copenhagen! Give it all you've got! Inferno could be everything. So many storied series end on this map. Now in CS2, we'll see if there's continuity.
Warning. That's all it is. A little warning. Presence here. Nice shot. Clean one from Mezzi. Kicks it off. Pressure's hot though. We've got 2 Molotovs in sight. We've got ZywOo and Mezzi executing them. Oh, it's a full house. It's a B site stacked to the brim with talent. Mezzi and ZywOo shut it down quick.
And they shut it down sharp, man. That was real nice from Mezzi in a very important moment. Here are those shots again. Let's relive it. P2K coming in. 180 flick on a dime. Beautiful with ZywOo. Vitality start off strong. Hot start on Nuke for FaZe Clan. Hot start from Vitality on Vertigo. And now 12 rounds away, Vitality. That's what they're telling themselves. Get the anti-ego. Get the machine going. Thing is, I feel like I have more questions about the players on Vitality than I do the players on FaZe. Yes, we saw a great map out of Vitality, but I don't want to see Mezzy and Flamesy carrying even Spinks over top of ZywOo. It would feel wrong if somehow they were able to pull this series out without him.
If he wants to contest with the greats, it's a hell of a map to do it. The time is nigh. ZywOo, here's them rumbling forward. That's all good. Bomb dropped at his feet. Clean response from Rain. It's bomb reacquired, MP9 picked up, and a little bit of map control for FaZe to just keep Vitality on their toes. The threat of an instant short hit, well, that could have been enough to keep Mezzy back, but instead he's gonna get curious. Oh, he's gonna get frisky. Closer, he will go to the Tech-9s that all sit in place. A sea of FaZe's players ready to respond. And that picked up MP9 could be the golden ticket to just overwhelm this site. We have Apex on a P2000. What has happened to his gun? Spinks comes through.
What's happening? But
the pistol at the very least will get the back of the head turned, but I mean, they've got such an edge. He hangs on for dear life. The assistance comes out from Flamesy. The deagle in the hands of Brokey. It's a reload needed in a high-octane spot. Apex, what is that?
I have no idea. I don't think he cares anymore. He's happy he got an upgrade. They can move on. A P2K inside a pit. A moment like that wouldn't be scary in a pug, a scrim, matchmaking game, even a group stage game, whatever. We're here in major semifinals.
On a decider map,
On a decider map, no less. Yeah, like every mistake will be amplified. These are all these rounds obviously will be remembered more than any others that happened in this series, but they survive.
And not only all that context, but with FaZe barreling towards your A bomb site, picking up guns as they come running in, swinging with the M4s. It's nice to see a rifle in the hands of the Capitan and a nade that goes down deep. It's an easy second. Making sure to keep FaZe at a good distance. Little peek out from Boiler, gets Robson opening. ZywOo dead, but that's fine. There's layers here for Vitality.
Oh, Mezzy's attacking on 3 prongs right now. He's got balcony. He'll be rotating around through Arch. He's been very fluid. He was over in the B site. Kerrigan alone. And, you know, ironically, this might be a map where ZywOo does well because he doesn't have to ob. He hasn't been doing that a lot, and Inferno was one of the first maps where you saw him drop it almost completely for entire games. CT side, of course, it's more surprising. T side, you almost never see it, so there's actually some comfort there, I think, for someone like him who it feels like is trying to shed that skin in CS2. I can't remember what event it was, but there was the quote from him saying, you've got to find new ways to play. You know, whether he meant with the op or without it, he has looked for them.
One thing we have yet to mention all series long, the head-to-head between Vitality and FaZe is so incredibly skewed. And within that, as of late, the grand finals they have played against each other in the past, lopsided to Vitality's favor.
Oh, and he does get it.
When FaZe put forth a new flavor back on Nuke, we think to ourselves, here we go, the curse is broken. It's on home turf that Kerrigan will get past this hurdle that is Apex. But after Vertigo's statement, after this 3-round T-side start, and after a 5v4 has been queued up in the first gun round, the question remains if FaZe and if Kerrigan can truly get one over Apex and his men.
Apex loses his primary soldier here to take over banana control. It'll get used against him. FaZe know what to do with the space. We still have Bracket's presence in for Vitality. Questions as to where that bomb will go. But as you can see, congregation of the T's now.
Oh, okay, Rain.
At 40 seconds, they go for the re-clear on mid. They don't see anything. All the CTs now attracted.
Nice. Opens up the rotate. Apex dodging the flash. Going through it with support.
나이스.
Gets himself the double. Almost the third. Recovered. Throws it in. Trading places. And reopening the possibility of a B-site collapse. But it is Mezzy to silently encroach, and he already gets through smoke. Now he's got the vision, but what he doesn't have is anybody to help him. Tree is occupied. Frozen makes the play.
Wow.
And that's what they're looking for. 4K from Frozen, the newest piece of FaZe puts up.
Absolutely. That is the kind of play you would get from Twist in a spot like that. Nowhere to go, everywhere to aim, and locking down 3 kills. Frozen with the perfect spray transfer on top of the opener and the closer in this round. All to deny this perfect flash transition from ZywOo to Apex on what felt like the ideal timing.
And Apex nearly getting that third. Player close on smoke, takes a ton of damage. Frozen upends it in FaZe. That's what we want, right? For the sake of this head-to-head.
Yeah.
For the glory and the greatness.
They used ZywOo's play on Banana with Frozen as the tip of the spear this time. Pairing with a perfect flash, taking out Flamesy. And they need to deal with his confidence because he will be coming forward on Banana constantly.
One thing we really have yet to see in this series is a strong back and forth. Slowly but surely, the makings of an excellent map 3. Thank goodness Inferno makes a little comeback. Even at the start of the major, we weren't talking about this map.
You know, a match like this quells any questions I have personally about Mezzy in pressured situations. I mean, of course, lifting trophies, but still, if you've been watching every single game, you do see moments where you could use a little bit more from him.
Sure.
And of course, the big games are what it's all about when you're playing for a team like Vitality, but here, on this big stage, the way he started out this map, or the way that he looked on Vertigo, I mean, you were just seeing him grow and prosper. And he was somebody who, when Henry had picked him up to join Cloud9, had the best reviews you could ask for. Somebody who knew every nade, who was great to play with, who brought no ego to the team, and was incredibly malleable. And at that level, could be a star player. Coming into Vitality, he knows he's not going to be, but he still needs to fit in and be a star in his role.
I like Maniac's take back on the desk before the game went live, saying that Apex is maybe putting him in a position where he has to take up responsibilities, do interviews, step forth, not just taking a backseat at the table.
Apex has dealt with so many soldiers in his life. He played with Masuda, who he said was somebody who was very good at sort of following instruction, but never would take the liberties and have the autonomy to make plays happen for himself and for the team. And that's sort of what he wants. You know, when he talks, whenever we hear Apex talk about one of his in case you were wondering.
I haven't seen this strat before.
Yeah, this is new. The highest level Counter-Strike only comes out here on the major stage. But whenever we've heard Apex talk about his teammates, it's always been in that context of how much can they do for us, and how much can we set them up to do that, or feel like they can take those risks. And I think in the past, sometimes he's been let down, or at least feels that way. Even being as honest to say to ZywOo, you know, during a tough bout at a major, and I can't remember which one it was, but to say, without you, we can't do this. Simply put, you are the player we need. And whether or not it was that line that worked perfectly, well, Vitality obviously made a run off of that. Attack pause here for Vitality. And yes, ZywOo will be opping. And again, you're not always going to see this. So early on in the half, buying it for himself, not even taking it from his opponents, because you're even not going to see that as often from the T side, even if it's FaZe. That's what you want to see from ZywOo, man. You want to see him on the op as much as possible. He's cursed with a gift of greatness. You need to give him the best gun, and he needs to deliver with it.
He'll try it right here, right now, but met by pressure. Ooh, through smoke, huh? Oh, wow. Not this time, Frozen.
It was a handoff. ZywOo with a warning shot.
Ton of damage, though. God damn. Look at the HP for the 3 CTs that are.
Wait, what?
Whoa. He got both. What kind of snap did that have to be? Cue it up. Stick it on the highlight reel, because that looked like it had to have been a teammate.
Yeah, that's a backbreaker. Wow. That was nice. Off the porch. 2K opens up the round. It's literally the kill that makes the round right there. All rotations are stopped. ZywOo gets in a much better spot if he doesn't get that second kill. It has to be to the dome instantly from Brokey on his off weapon.
아까처럼 한 8대1 이렇게 가야 되는데.
Foot in the door, folks. FaZe convert. Extended pause, fast pace, right into it. And that's with, remember, man disadvantage. And it's not as though they took over the players who had low health. That was just barreling towards brackets, swarming into the A site, and I'm sure we're about to see it. Something phenomenal from Brokey.
Yeah, and to be honest, I mean, that's something that where Vitality have a great round otherwise. It looks perfect. They have the exact reaction to FaZe going quickly up bracket after taking space on Banana.
So what was it?
That's what FaZe needed. We could definitely get to the end of this game. 24 rounds, overtime, second overtime. It's Inferno. Every clutch is going to add up. Every spray transfer too.
They're going to keep things active. Flamesy, one of the
나이스.
right into it. That's what we need, right? If you're working with lesser pieces, get them active.
ZywOo or Zeus, he was in the clouds for that one.
It's Flamesy on one half, ZywOo on the other, and instant transition onto Arch side as well. But at the same time that he departs, in those mere seconds that there are not eyes on mid, Rain has slipped forward. Now he hears that departure.
Actually, this is massive.
He heard them ran, and Mezzy's just got the pistol. Rain, he slips into the A site with perfect timing. And that is audio offered by ZywOo. Smoke grenade bounces on Moto. They're going to emphasize a fast, short hit. And ZywOo comes through, lands his shot, but dies. Brokey's AK looking sharp, Spinks. It's just a pistol. What can you really ask of it? Flamesy started it, and he's not going to be able to end it. Apex into the bomb site down. FaZe tie early.
That's a lot of magic coming out of FaZe. That's a lot of X Factor. A lot of options there, a lot of moments where Vitality could have won. Any one extra kill in that situation, you don't want to overanalyze that spot. That comes down to the frags. Rain should have died 3 times over.
아직 몰라요.
And ZywOo did damage through the box, but no kill.
Good reaction time out of Rain.
Oh yeah.
Good fake from Brokey, gets hands on gun. Secures that third one for this FaZe T side. But that was, again, lesser weapons.
The last time it felt like FaZe could not beat Vitality in a grand final. They played on Inferno. It was Kerrigan to go for what looked like haphazard arch wraps over and over again. He was pushing through smokes to try to catch ZywOo off. ZywOo was obviously in perfect form, and even though he got a couple of rounds that way, Vitality ended up winning the game and learning from their mistakes quickly. We are still seeing moments like that now with this drop back control, with Rain trying to peek into Arch on early timings. That's something that's special that FaZe do on this map versus Vitality exclusively.
Again, we get the triple bracket set up. Again, we're going to get the B site players leaning back. Those early smokes took control of Banana with ease, right? We've seen fights queued up. We've seen Frozen fall and fire. This time, FaZe don't have to pay much for control of Banana, an essential piece of this map to go barreling into the B play with more util over top. Nate to pop the smoke as the reload comes out from Apex. This is not ideal. Now they've been relegated into the back of the site. The crossfire's been denied, but the flank is fast. The trade is quick. The box is occupied, and it catches them off. Flames, great coverage, but there's the difference. There's the FaZe clan.
Oh, shit.
And yet here comes Mezzy. A flash attempt denied. It's going to take more than that. A nade destined for Brokey to soften him up, and half his health is gone. He's got a smoke still to play with. And at the moment, he's got these 2Ts sectioned off. Does he use his smoke to block Kerrigan like Coffin was just obscured? Or he decides to go forward, but he steps into the water. Audio made. He gets close. It's a nice clean headshot. King Mezzy looking for the clutch. Onto the bomb. Kerrigan goes out. Spray sprays away.
Can't
Mezzi.
야,
Oh,
이겼어.
so long. It's a 10-second.
아,
Not
핏이
gonna get
없었나
it over
보네.
this line.
Kerrigan had to use everything in the kitchen sink, but he had the time to do it. No defuse kit means no round one. Another unbelievable moment that leans the way of FaZe. That was a great show of power, though. That was something, again, that's been impressive about Mezzi. It was a great attempt, but now it's FaZe in the lead. If you could explain how FaZe did this, you could explain their whole careers. That's the deal. You go up against FaZe, you got to be ready for this round, these kinds of rounds.
Oh, okay. Apex is.
Maybe bring some of your own.
Keeps it clean with the P250. Pistols in all possible pockets. Props with helping hands in apps, but they do forego control of it.
This is one of the most terrifying and unnerving situations for a T team, to go down 5v4 versus pistols on a map where you could win 5v5. Picking the site can be picking the site blind. They don't even have the ability to scout safely. They don't know what crevices the CTs have shoved themselves into, where they're finding evidence of the attack coming forward. But still, the time bleeds down and a decision must be made.
Yeah, but that decision could lead them into some choppy waters. ZywOo with a scout. We want that X factor. We demand it of him. Big conversations with his name in it all the time.
Oh, there's...
And yet on the big stage, it just feels off. And right now, they're gonna have to maybe press in through smoke with pistols again in the right positions. Can they support ZywOo? No. Kerrigan, 2 backs turned, made easy. Desert Eagle here from FaZe, just off the mark, but only Kerrigan left. Not enough.
No.
Pistols in all possible pockets.
Wow, they locked off the back exit, came down to 40 seconds, knew it was coming into the B site, put everyone in a good position. And even though FaZe thought they were getting out of another tight spot, more Vitality players showed up and they realized what they were doing was obvious. Vitality knew the whole time, and they show us an X Factor round back to keep this game as competitive as possible. Winner of this map goes to Grand Finals. And that thought creeps into your mind more when you're in the lead than when you're losing.
아씨 졸린데 잠을 못 자네.
All starts with the P250. Inside of the site now, Apex dies with no second kill. It's this FaZe Desert Eagle. Boom! Just like that, Kerrigan, it's a gut punch that just knocks it over. And playing on the skinny pillar, ZywOo nicely done from backside with the scout, also throws one in the mix.
And FaZe shows a lot of confidence playing B. He's played it his whole career.
Brokey going combat mode. Oh, it's fast.
That's a bit of ZywOo once again. They're using his own plays against him. Quick one from Brokey.
Vitality show us a flash of FaZe winning in the force in the round prior, but Brokey comes right at it. Apex from P250 entry into what was Mantis advantage.
He's clever and creative and knows all the nuances. FaZe brings this back a little bit. What we've seen in these moments is immediately FaZe seeking out different map control, going for top brackets quickly. And they're looking to elicit a reaction here. But we've got Mezzi on his trusted balcony. Usual spots from both squads.
It's a dangerous game right now on the B site.
Oh, is there a gap that Kerrigan can find with the way that FaZe rotates? That's the question I think he's asking himself.
I dare you. Oh! Through the smoke with no bomb, but no problem. It's gonna go sprinting down middle. Robs is here to keep the rotation off the heels of Brokey with the bomb.
He could see him in his mind's eye. Punish the fallback.
Who other than Kerrigan to take it into his own hands, to slip forward into what was a great recovery out of FaZe just seconds sooner.
Wow.
And with that, he queues up the 5v4 lead.
Yeah. He never fails to impress in moments like that. He could have lost, but FaZe could have lost a round if he didn't make a move like that.
I just think Kerrigan is so good at understanding risk. Yes, you could have walked through that smoke. Yes, you could have died straight up to Flamesy. But the rest of the team has abs control, the bomb in possession, and is ready to hit A.
Absolutely. And when it comes to nerves, Kerrigan proved at Antwerp in the grand finals on Inferno, where he quashed them completely. You know, where he showed he could play his best until the very end. And he started off this game slow, but he's back to it. I think it was 0-4, now 6-6.
A man of the people.
That's right.
There's no denying, Kerrigan plays games.
He was winking directly at me. That's how we all feel.
Brokey, that's super quick entry, already with a smoke on the fallback too. The same smoke Frozen gets caught out in, but that's the kill that reopens the round.
Yeah.
There's no way around it. Kerrigan killing Flamesy puts FaZe in the lead.
Yeah, that was both teams disguising their intentions. Flamesy finding a piece, but Kerrigan getting the last word. You can make 10 right moves in a row. One mistake and the round is over.
Spinks just going for a nibble. Doesn't want to take the chance, and that doesn't just pull him back, but the second apartment's players too. So even just any presence inside apps seems like Vitality don't want to run the risk.
They have been extremely timid here.
이거 안 쓰는데. 이거 막아야 돼.
You can see the conditioning coming in on the map. But Vitality have done a good job of not actually responding to it. They are sticking to their guns on these setups.
Ooh, good. Oh, no, never mind. Goes deeper. So Spinks can hang on for now. ZywOo's got eyes from above. Dodging flashes. First kills to the CT's Rain. Can't recover both. Support here for the defense. Both sides of brackets.
But it activates the attack. Flamesy up to the plate.
Again, he will be tested. Again, he could hold his nerve, or he could be the reason this B site falls to the feet of FaZe. That Opper's coming hunting. And Frozen comes out from smoke. Flamesy gets the plant. Frozen gets the headshot. Nice spam out of the smoke. Brokey, there's the warning shot, but it's also an invitation. Apex over top. Stuffs them back inside the coffins, and we go tied 5-all.
That's again, they tried to go for the backwards control. I think it's Kerrigan expecting to get this space back at this point in the round, trying to condition Vitality. Apex not responding, playing aggressively in brackets. Perfect setup to deny any trades versus what they were trying to do. Get in and out, clear out 2 Ts, clear out 2 CTs, get back to their B site attack. Vitality were able to whiff punish in that setup. And even though it could have come close to the B site, they had so much material left over, they could take some risks, chasing down Brokey inside the site, denying a plant. FaZe now left with no funds.
Again, they want this fight, huh? You're not going to find anybody tucked in corners. Total forfeiture of Banana this round out of FaZe. And we just saw a rock-solid defense on the brackets control out of Vitality. So if you think getting funneled into this A site is going to be your solution, there could very well be problems ahead.
It is, yes. But when we see what's taking place.
Galil in the middle of the pack. Excellent flashbang. ZywOo's nade finds him. That was a critical juncture. Spinks empty-handed falls. And they have to ask themselves, do we have enough to force this retake, or have FaZe done it again?
It's too much of an investment, the op, right? How can they even mobilize it in the situation? There's no molly for inside the site.
That's it?
They will leave.
That's all?
FaZe with a perfect call to meet a perfect setup from the last round of Vitality. That top bracket control on the rifle round was spectacular, but met by FaZe, who find an opportunity to jump out halls when there's no pit players.
We've talked about ZywOo's absence and Flamesy being on at times, but he who picked up all the slack has been Spinks.
Yes, and Spinks was the player deciding to play retake on Arch. Had to get 2 frags, couldn't get a single one. They get a haul safely, and again, that comes down to the call, right? They were anticipating a heavy brackets presence. If there's a heavy brackets presence, you don't have 6 players. You can't just be playing pit and bracket at the same time. So That's a good one from Kerrigan to answer back. This is definitely a battle of the minds right now, and it's hard to tell who's winning. Scoreline will dictate the narrative. A second timeout called here for Vitality. As we wade now into waters unknown, what is the next move?
So hard to get a read as to what will work or what won't, because it feels like both bomb sites have been successfully defended and taken over.
100%. We've seen it all.
And I think this really screams the depth that Inferno has for both these teams, in contrast to what we got back on Vertigo, where FaZe looks so lopsided.
And this flash, obviously. No chance to fight back for Mezzi.
And unfortunately, that's the crack in the A defense. That's Spinks showing shakiness as he sits 3-7 in a critical moment of this series, in the biggest moment of Vitality's major.
Yeah, it must be said. You can have a great map 1, but when you get to map 3, you got to be every bit as good.
Final round of a T-side you know FaZe can be proud of.
And this is one that anything can go. I don't know what's a bad idea in this situation. It's just going to come down to what gamble does he think that Apex took in terms of how they're stacking up. You know, they don't play vanilla setups where they play one on every choke point and hold.
This time it's an entirely absent Arch side. It's been a real consistency in having CTs on top of this porch.
But this can counter some of the default control because you can see over top of an Arch smoke, and K-Star is going to be alert. Looks like they go back to draw on some new grenades as we pass the minute mark. A slow burn on this round. FaZe trying to build the pressure.
Rain sensing this presence. If anybody knows wallbangs and lineups, it's gotta be Rain. King of the cave on Ancient. Here's that util pressure that's going to keep the CTs looking towards mid. Mezzi with the first one, but it's all about the setup of Spinks. Empty-handed again.
The perfect pre-aim.
Apex at bat. Clotheslines Rain on the approach. Second kill could be had. Oh, and sure enough, he does enough. 2 kills for him, 2 up for FaZe. And 2 stand on the other side. Flames and ZywOo demanded of them this retake.
They'll have to go for it, and they might need to win it.
Right now, they are working with a kit on ZywOo, but that means the Opper's hands could be busy. And Rops is going to take an angle that could very well catch them off. There's a little bit of distance between the CTs. Flamesy, first contact dead. And we've got ZywOo, no trade. We've got FaZe with no problems, because a 7-round T-side is nothing to scoff at.
That's right, that's right. A wax stamp on the round here from Rops once again at the end of a half. One of these teams going to grand finals, and both proving they deserve to be there. This game is shaping up to be as close as it can get. And thank you so much, CopenHagen, for being with us.
Clearing of top porch, very nicely done. You think maybe that Spinks setup is what gets him in with a kill, but back-to-back empty-handed moments there for Spinks. Back-to-back feels like too much.
Oh, we got the gears turning here for Vitality. There have been some investments. We don't know how light FaZe go into this second pistol.
Utility for Apex, smoke additionally. A lot of util here for this T-side. Some kind of execute clearly getting set up in this one.
Let's see, they set up, and there's almost no reason to not sort of spend at least some portion of the time looking for flanks, because the map control is actually easy to come by time-wise. But it also allows for openings from the CTs who are getting frisky.
Kerrigan, this is such a committed position. He's not getting out of here now.
It can be all or nothing.
He is so committed. He is all in on it. Back turn to him. Crossfire's there, and now he gets out. Oh, with the flashbang. It interrupts him. Puts Frozen in a spot to try and take another, but nope. Smoke there, all is good. They've contained control of Banana with a double man advantage. all that utility, all of that execute, everything Vitality wanted to throw in this pistol, and now it is down to a double molly, one flash. But isn't that the perfect solution for what this CT side is holding on to?
Comes down to where they land.
불 좀 까고 가자.
And looky.
Oh.
Apex may be off the mark. The second one lands on top of them. It gets them to move, but it also forces them into the fight. And if Frozen's hitting hard like this, no problem! A slaughter on the top of Banana yet again, and a FaZe that shows no sign of slowing down.
What FaZe showed us in quarters was unbelievable. And again, they're here looking for round 2. Vitality powered up after destroying Cloud9 in the most one-sided quarter that we've seen. And after Vertigo, you thought, okay, maybe they just had to shake the nerves off on map 1. They're back to it, but look at FaZe in the lead.
It's a beautiful thing to see. Frozen and Kerrigan working in tandem after years of being apart, waiting for his call-up and being put in a bomb site with the leader he believes in more than anybody else.
차분하게 잘 쏘네 저 새끼가.
And that confidence is going to start to spill over as there is so little here for Vitality to offer.
Right now, there are no superheroes on Vitality. No one is wearing a cape. No one is doing what Spinks brought to Vitality on Nuke.
ZywOo's got kills, but it's not enough. It is not world class. It is not game defining.
이거 양방.
Rain, easy does it. Not gonna get anything going here towards brackets. It's a drive-by Glock frag, but it's all false hope here for Vitality.
Wow.
FaZe are simply 4 rounds from grand finals.
Yeah. The pieces are falling into place. They might be able to hit cruise control soon. That would be Vitality's worst nightmare. We've seen great players crumble on this stage in quarters already. It was surprising every time it happened, whether it was the Spirit players, the Cloud9 players, whoever. Vitality would be the most surprising after surviving that test initially. But at what point won't we be surprised? Don't let FaZe in playoffs.
Guns up to try and make a difference, but Mezzi already shattered. 41 HP off of the frag. And a flashbang here to set up Kerrigan. Now he is feeling it. And he will take over control, and with that, decide what's next. Fast rush! We've got T's barreling up short side. A sudden test of the A defense from FaZe.
Yeah, but
they don't panic.
Yeah, Apex is just so far ahead of everything at the moment.
Oh,
it's his kill.
That's why.
That's key.
Taking it into his own hands. Oh, but Frozen right before smoke pops. Sends one through, and Brokey could slip in between the 2 that's left of Vitality. ZywOo cut down.
He can hear him. The echo of the footsteps inside of all Spinks now. Needs this.
He's
1
lucky.
on 3. They know where he is.
He's lucky that bomb fell down on top of him. CT's molly themselves and then put it out. He sees the one slip, but he's blind. FaZe may lose their bomb site, but it doesn't feel like they're going to lose this semifinals.
It's just too perfect from FaZe Clan. It might be too much to bear.
I like the tempo. I like the pace. It's a risk from Apex. He takes it into his own hands, but he did deliver. ZywOo had to get the opening to cross.
That was Apex's X-Factor kill. Where was ZywOo's? You know, where was it in that moment when he pre-aimed Brokey knowing that he would be held? Where's that first bullet headshot that you need from him? FaZe have got those in spades. Moments coming out of Apex, who is now at the top of the board.
Their last tack.
One last chance to talk. They're basically in a position to try to fend off overtime at best.
To be in that team speak right now?
Oh, it might be quiet.
With Apex? I don't think so.
True.
He's got to be fierce with his leadership. He's got to fire up these players. We know what Spinks is capable of, but right now we're getting nothing from him. 3 kills deep, 15 rounds into map 3.
He's meant to be the electronic to ZywOo Simple.
We start to see more and more confident moves coming out of the CTs. Pressure from FaZe as they have placed Rain in an excellent jackknife position. If they walk up here, he's gonna catch him. Mezzy had turned and dead. And Rain running for the escape, but Spinks will respond. Finally, it's something. There's also an opening, a chance to wrap around this A site to put pressure onto Rops, who's just able to get into the pit. Brokey caught, no support, unless Kerrigan has to go. It is a clean sweep.
Yeah, that's a full court punish here from Vitality. One they needed for Alive as they win the full rifle.
It's an answer.
It is. And it's not small either. FaZe still don't have tons of money. They'll have another buy, but...
And a parallel between the round prior with Apex getting aggressive on short. This was a fast transition from Vitality into that A hit.
Off the tack as well.
So tempo on A is now the red flag we raise for FaZe.
But you don't win a game on half the map, especially not on a comeback of this size. If they had to trip over the finish line and only needed 2 or 3 rounds, they could dress up this play differently and do it over and over again. But being this far away means Apex is going to show us a deep playbook or fail trying. There is no way he's going to be able to get away with that every single time.
여기서 2판 더 따야 돼. 2판. 최소. 근데 여기서 따인다. 거의 포기.
Got to be so impressed with Frozen and his integration, and of course you want to give credit to Kerrigan for being able to do that, and you can thank their past experience for accelerating that process. And the fact that FaZe have found finals already with him has already been impressive, but being in finals and actually winning are 2 different games. And Vitality, the last 2 times they met, they were the champions. They're the ones that ended the quote-unquote FaZe era, as close as they made it in the winter.
Honestly, though, you do catch 2 CTs a little off guard, right? The apartments kill, Rain not thinking Spinks would look over stairs. And then Flamesy getting the better of the rotate and library as he had nades in hand. You put guns up for FaZe, they have been hitting. And plenty of more guns where the previous ones came from. It's another buy out of FaZe, but it's all they've got on this one. Vitality win this back-to-back round, this game's back on.
That's true. I think they know that too. And I think that calls for a slower paced round, because even if they grind down 3 or more players for FaZe, they keep that money fickle.
Whoa, they're ready.
Oh, big one.
Whole pack of players ready to charge, and they're not going to stop. Kerrigan, the MP9, not enough to get the multi-frag. Rain challenged. ZywOo goes over top, but he didn't get a chance to gun him down, so it's just the 1-man advantage, and that 1 man hangs on to 17 health.
We're talking about 2 players on the other side of the world.
The nades that were left here. Oh, he uses it wonderfully.
What? And now the CTs, surely they're going to try to join in.
They're still not moving.
Oh my God, they're not even going to think about it.
Even with that.
I don't know, Rob's had a full kit of utility. They just were having no thought of going for this situation. Vitality win a very important round. I think that FaZe know, though, if they lost every player on this round, that can be the safe to follow. That can be the save after that. So it's an economical choice. Not the sexiest, not what you want to see in the situation, but definitely might be the wisest. Now, if they were closer and you play that retake over and over again, it's definitely a world where FaZe win it.
Not just that. If ZywOo's not planting behind the Fountain's pillar and that smoke gets popped open, I'm telling you, Rain's not shooting at the player by his side.
And that's the thing about planting Grill now, because you can break open those smokes. So people are getting, actually planting there obviously quite often.
벌처럼 날아서 쏘란 말이야, 인마.
So somehow a win for both teams. I mean, FaZe don't lose more than 3 players. They can sustain to buy again. Vitality get their round. And two straight to stabilize their own economy, build up a little bit of a nest egg on their side. 3-round game. And things get interesting once again. Look at Frozen. CZ in hand. Kerrigan, just a pistol.
천천히. 유틸 빠지고.
Couple instances of real aggression from FaZe down banana. Kerrigan's going to try again. But, I mean, What are you expecting?
세이브구나.
Hoping that nobody's in that corner, that he can just slip into one of those spots on his own.
I gotta say, Vitality have done a really great job in this series so far of rounds like this where they don't have that many guns to work with, of making it feel like a full rifle. Setting up Zywu for an opening kill, they've won with one gun. Flamesy as well, they've done that too. FaZe Clan are setting a trap over on the A site, but it doesn't look like Vitality or they themselves going to run into it. Thought we were going to see more money to buy on everybody, but FaZe will be perfectly happy to carry the guns forward again.
Of course, right? You keep that 3-player pack kerneled towards the A site. If the fight comes to you, you've got your best bet. But okay, a peek down middle, and you've now lost one of those weapons for good.
Yes, yes. They try to play this one as safely as possible, but now they're down to 2.
A costly glimpse down middle.
Now, this is one of the situations where your KPR as a lurker
hey,
is
let
actually
Spinks
relevant.
hunt.
Yeah.
Let him go. That's 2 weapons now dropped out of Spinks. They're not round-winning kills, but they come with impact.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's... Oh, man. Everyone down here for FaZe Clan. It was 5-10 for a second.
오케이. 어휴 모른다.
Not to mention, you know, you've set up this entire round. Kerrigan pushes down Banana with a P250. Why? Because you want to keep your 3 rifles for the follow-up, and you still end up losing them. They could have taken a chance. They could have ran a risk, and instead, that round looks so much flatter.
In terms of creativity on the low buys, you got to give it to Vitality. They have come up with some good ones and actually converted.
And they hunt them down.
And in a hurry, we are at a 2-round game, and because there's no op save, there will be no op bot here from FaZe Clan. Barely enough money to operate.
Apex just stares at the flames. The next wave sprints. No!
Alive with 2 HP.
What is that?
He almost got let down on that one. Still low.
He's still doomed. He's destined for death. Frozen's not going to let him get out of there. No recovery. Not this time.
Wow, the spray transfer from Frozen. Through the smoke. 3 down for Vitality. Not even at a minute.
This consistency in the banana pressure, right? From P250 on Kerrigan to 2 players applying it. A rebuy in the hands of FaZe, and it nets them 11. Worry not, Vitality. Tons of money still to play. The nature of their round wins have given them a bank account to play with.
Yeah, they weren't just scraping by. It wasn't clutches that got them to this point of the 3-round streak.
And is it enough money to run the risk? No. Or is it?
My God.
They've got Frozen and Kerrigan to deal with.
Surely they're just humoring them.
2 players who have set up great defenses for this B site. Now that Zywu's softened, you'd think surely not.
Wait, he got a kill?
But his Tech-9 comes in regardless. And it's Kerrigan sat back waiting for their arrival.
Okay, I guess worried about trying to save on Banana. Thought their exit was blocked off. I don't know, but they lose it. Op and a rifle.
Get the hell out of here.
For 1 kill. Now, of course, there's still some money left for Vitality to make this interesting, but it's FaZe from a power position in the lead.
Let's fucking go!
Boy, oh boy. What a treat we have in front of us. Vitality, FaZe.
This has been specifically Frozen's team right? In these finals going up against FaZe. And even though it's only the semi now, this is what's kept him out of getting his first trophy on FaZe Clan.
Speaking of first trophies, Kerrigan in Denmark. Every time he steps forward in the Royal Arena, the whole team talks about how much he wants it, how much it means to him. And this would be another chance to take it down in another grand finals, but it's been so elusive.
So elusive for almost all Danes, honestly. So the curse of support on it, maybe. It's the Danish teams who have stood up to the adversity of crowds around the world, but when they've come to play in front of their own, have definitely struggled.
That is very true, but it is also safe to say that I have not seen this many Danes in the Royal Arena. And as we get late into this third map, I ask you, the world is watching. CopenHagen, make some noise!
Yeah, let's turn it up.
Counter-Strike at its finest. FaZe
모르겠다. 이거 따면 모르겠다.
rounds away. And Vitality, a great challenger.
내가 봤을 때 이거를 따야 쟤네가 다음 판에 또 올라갈 거야.
What's going to look different? What's going to be the pace? Because when we've seen those rapid hits towards A, those are the two things that ended up working for Vitality's D side. That quick switch.
스모글.
Vitality have found some pretty good duels. It hasn't really been major mistakes. It's been a cascade of smaller ones that have cost them good positions. Getting B is huge for
Great flash.
FaZe.
Great flash, but he doesn't clear. And then they get flashed right back.
나이스.
It's a turnaround, but still the trade. Numbers here for FaZe nets them this 4v4 at an instantaneous fallback.
He had a window of opportunity right there. And look at the CT shuffle right now. As we cross the minute, they seem to be worried about something.
That fast A hit.
Wait.
That's what they're worried about, the
Hold
quick
on.
transition. Anytime something goes poorly, it's usually Apex moving into A, so Kerrigan puts pieces ahead of the hit.
It's a great read.
He's reading it wonderfully. But
the-
right there on the brim of mid goes swinging Rain into Apex's crosshair.
But there's still more support.
They're back to back. It's Brokey and Robs holding on to short. A perfect dodge. They trickle down into the pit, and the Opera only stops the one. Robs with the glance down mid, trying to catch some
됐다.
kind of movement. He
Oh.
will. Again, it is Zywoo with nothing as he falls, crossing out from half. Apex is dead, and Flames with two kills ahead. Gets nothing.
Oh, Robs and Porch name a better duo. Another major moment from him. Oh, amazing to see those plays.
팀이 씨발 벌에서 똥파리로 바꿔라
That is
개새끼들아.
gut-wrenching for Vitality. A perfect setup, but the rotation call to go to the A site was beautiful from Finn. He was
스나가
responsible, he was
시간을
correct.
좀더 썼어야 되는데.
And even though they came out of halls and there were no pit players, that's right, Kerrigan.
He knows.
He knows.
Back to the action, fast and with the pace. Kerrigan barreling forward, smoke indicates all he needs. Knives out, gonna cost him. Gun goes dry. Frozen again. It is bodies lined up with the base
포기다
of
포기 이
banana.
새끼들. 와.
And FaZe were never able to beat Vitality in these finals.
Yeah,
But with Frozen,
yes.
maybe there is a little bit more clay.
This B site's been so solid. They've had to dig so deep. And with Kerrigan watching on from the wayside, the third major grand finals for him and Rain queued up.
간단하네 페이지가.
All you have to do is stop the French Foreign Legion. Flamesy, Spinks crawling
야
back
씨발
towards
모니터
mid.
좀 파고 뒷대 가라.
Brokey, who stood up in the round prior, cheered with all his heart, is here with Op, and still he remains patient. Map, match, and a grand finals point. But with that hesitation over towards A comes this slow movement back. Two smokes to block things off, two flashes to get them in, no Molotov to disrupt these positionings. It is Frozen and Rain to anchor. It is Frozen and Rain to keep FaZe this close, to punch that ticket to grand finals. We get the climb over top and a clean headshot, but Rain always stoic. And if you let your guard down, if you do that, you'll fall.
나 씨발 보고 들어왔으면.
Bask in the glory of the FaZe clan, the founding fathers of CS2, signed Vitality's death certificate. They lock in grand finals.
The second team to beat Spirit this year. And finally, revenge over Vitality.
아 남은 건 나비밖에
Denying
없어
them
이제.
a second chance to win a repeat major. FaZe in grand finals.
To dispatch of tournament favorites in the opening game, to be this continuous boogeyman that is the playoffs for all up-and-comers, and for Kerrigan to yet again get a chance in the Royal Arena. Another major on the line, and to do it in front of a crowd that chants his name, that cheers for his team. Heartbreak on the other side. has to be said. Great back and forth between Apex and Kerrigan throughout this third map. And we see a little weakness. It can't be understated. That Vertigo game was flat. FaZe are not perfection, but they are unarguably grand finalists.
FaZe are your first team through to the grand finals. It's taken a couple more majors to get back to this spot, but you've done it again.
I mean, focus on next game. But listen to this. I never thought I would get so much crowd in Denmark. I always thought Astralis would destroy everything, but here I am, and the whole Royal Arena is behind me. It's insane. Thank you, guys.
Now, Kerrigan, this game, well, Nuke, you get it, despite having struggled even against them before, right, when you faced off against Vitality. So that's a positive. But then Vertigo, maybe not quite ready for that.
I think Rain saw a few B executes. So I think we could have adapted more, but I have to give credit to Vitality. They had a great game plan on that map, and they were one step ahead, and Apex outcalled me on that map. But I feel like Nuke and Inferno is really strong match for us, right? And we showcased that, and I'm super proud that we can play 7 maps. It is crazy.
And what do you put that down to? Why are you now at least able to play, maybe not win all the time, but play 7 maps? What's the change?
We knew coming into this major, our biggest rivals on paper were Spirit and Vitality, and Na'Vi and other teams. So why not play Vertigo? We will see. I don't know who we face in the final, but now you never know what map you're banning.
And that's it, right? You've got it in your wheelhouse now. You're in other teams' heads for sure. But what does this feel like in the team? What is the vibe you're getting right now?
If you see how we're losing T-Rounds, we are just resetting. We lost, I think we lost against 2 Eagles on the T side, and we lost 3 rounds. But nobody's upset. Nobody is angry. We just keep focused on next game, next round, and that's why we are so far now. So we need to stay humble. Whoever we face in the final, I'm just looking forward to blow this roof off in Royal Arena tomorrow.
And I'm damn sure they will do that, because this is incredible. But I have to ask you, on the first day before we got to playoffs, you told me, don't have any pressure here. I mean, pushing through smokes, we did see you push through smokes as well. But did you feel some pressure in this game?
No, I think obviously Inferno, I feel very comfortable. When I kind of got a little back down on our city side, I just tried to focus. I've been in so many games, so many finals. I know that once the thoughts come, it's just another wave like in the ocean. Just let it go and just keep focusing on what's next. And I have a lot of experience after all. I've played this game for 20 years, so I know that I need to focus on the positive, and that's what I'm doing for tomorrow.
And that's what it's all about, the positives, and you always find them. But how do you not overthink so many of these situations? Because you've gone through so many different situations.
I think overthinking is basically making sure that you are never in the zone. If you just think about the moment you're in, focus on the frag, focus on the flashbang for a teammate, you don't get a chance to overthink. I've been overthinking a lot of my career, but the last few years, it's all about enjoying what we're doing and what we are creating, and that's what I'm doing here all the time.
Well, you've done it. You've made yourself into the major grand final here in Copenhagen. Royal Arena, let me hear you make some noise for Kerrigan and
저번에도 우승 후보였고. 저번에도 우승 후보.
누구지? 해계는 페이지 찍었다.
Yes, such amazing scenes. Kerrigan has done it again, getting his flowers for the first time here in the Royal Arena, and I love it. He's one of my Counter-Strike heroes. I hope he stays grounded, because you know tomorrow it's not just a date with a final; it's a date with destiny. I think if they go on to win this tournament, he is the GOAT. He'd be my GOAT.
And who would I be to debate you, honestly? Listen, I have an unlimited amount of respect for Kerrigan, and yet he finds ways to
이거
improve
맨날
that respect. It's
아침에
crazy
제가
what he was able to do on that
출근하려고
map of Inferno. So many rounds on the knife
한
edge,
6시나
so many
깨면
decisions
6시나
that made
7시
or
깨면
broke situation. He had the right
그때까지
call,
라이브
he
하고
had
있어,
the
이거.
moments, he had the vision, he had the nerves. This is a very hurtful loss for Vitality, and the other side of the coin is an incredible performance for FaZe.
If anything, I also want to give all the credit in the world to Kerrigan. Obviously, you know, being inside this arena, playing in front of 14,000 people, cheering his name and hyping him up. Even more so Vitality as a team, you know, couldn't match the team of FaZe Clan. That's my main takeaway from this one as well. FaZe Clan in this game showed up as a team. Not a single player went missing. Everyone showed up. Everyone had their moment. You can give as much credit you want to in terms of Kerrigan's performance, Kerrigan's calling, but every single player from FaZe Clan showed up throughout this matchup, and that's what makes our winning team.
시티가
I mean, I agree with you. It's across the board. Of course, we give a lot of praise to Kerrigan because he's the captain, but I really think that there is a philosophy of remaining calm in moments that are uncertain, moments that are chaotic. We were on the seats, on the edge of our seats, whether so many times, and you can feel the calmness on FaZe's crosshair, and it absolutely struck through. I am flabbergasted.
Yeah, we'll talk about the game in just a moment. We go back to the stage where Banks has Apex.
그리고 불 맞아가지고
Thank you, Richard.
스모그로 못
Guys,
꺼버렸다.
give him a big round of applause for standing here and doing this. It's not easy, Dan, it never is. But you guys fought the whole way through. You fought through some crazy circumstances. I just want to first ask about this series against FaZe. Did it feel like you were looking so comfortable when you saw this veto go down?
Well, yeah, I think that Inferno, we had so many great moments that we should have converted, and we lost most of them. I think there were a lot of like miscommunication and I would say mislistening, and that was pretty rough. That's unfortunate, that's the way it is, that's high pressure moments. We needed to answer in a better way, and we didn't, and they deserve the win anyway today.
And what do you make that come down to? What do you think that is the reason for these mistakes? Because we saw you guys on a better trajectory.
Well, you know, it's all about dealing with the pressure and in this moment listening to each other, because I think we had like really good reads, really good moments that we didn't convert at all. And yeah, that that killed us at the end. We tried to come back on T side, but yeah, we didn't win enough rounds, and that was pretty rough.
And looking at this, right? Okay, you were the previous major champions. You guys come in this. That
선수들 세팅 다 맞춰줘야
was very
되니까.
comfortable for you. Do you feel like that was maybe too comfortable for you guys?
No, not really. I think we were ready today. But yeah, once again, I think pressure hit us a little bit in some sense. And that's the way it is when you want to win big title in Counter-Strike. You have pressure, but you need to deal with it, and we didn't today. Not enough at least.
And what do you want to say to all the fans? Look at this, your crowd here of the Golden Hornets. They've all got hearts up for you, man.
Well, I want to thank, of course, the Golden Hornets, all the friends that came here, all the Vitality fans. Thank you very much. Sorry to disappoint you today. The next one will be ours.
That's what it's all about. Guys, a big round of applause and so much respect for Apex.
Yeah, a lot of respect for Apex. Obviously, someone I've known a long, long time. We came through Source together. I watched him develop through CSGO, where he was one of the monster entry fraggers. You know, an impact player, part of that great generation of French talent.